Was it difficult for you to depress the keys? This organ is notorious for its heavy action, or not?
I can tell you it was a massive relief when I first sat down and played one note, and it was like, it's going to be okay. From that moment, I knew it was going to be okay, because I knew the reputation of the organ and how heavy it was, and I was quite concerned. But for 2 months before I came here, I've been playing Hanon exercises with full organ at my home church. So my home church is mechanical action organ, and I would say that organ is the heaviest action I've played in Australia. And I would couple the swell to the grate, it's only 2 manual, and pull out all the stops, which is quite harsh to listen to on the ears, and I'd play Hanon exercises on full organ, and I think that's what got me through.
I see. That's a clever strategy, right, Osha?
Yes, it is. I think it helped too a lot.
I would probably use all the couplers on a different organ, but not necessarily all the stops. Maybe I would use just the flutes.
But it still has different touch and you pull out all the stops.
Really?
Yes, even at our St. John's Church, yes. If you will play, let's say, only with a principal lead, the keys will be much lighter. Because the air compression, I think, is different.
I especially notice on our home organ that particularly the large 8-foot stops, I think maybe the pallets have more area so that there's more flow of air into those big open diapason pipes, because you really feel the difference between playing like a solicinal, a string scale versus the open diapason.
And of course, a few weeks before John came here, the organ suffered a little bit of my adjustment. I had to make the springs harder or stronger, right? On 2 keys in the middle of the first manual, E and F. Did you notice that?
No.
Good, because I later relaxed them a little bit, because to play it's very uncomfortable, uneven keyboard, because the cipher was taking place, and the only thing I could do or could find to do was to help the strings become wider just a little bit.
Yes.
And that fixed the problem, at least temporarily. But Osha was playing her E-flat major prelude and fugue by Bach, BWV 552, and she caught this organ when the springs were very, very wide, at that moment. It wasn't good feeling, right, Osha?
Yes, it was a bad feeling.
I found that manual 1, so the bottom manual, was, I found it was quite beautiful to play. I found it was firm but very responsive, and I felt very connected to the sounds. The second manual, which is the swell enclosed manual, the keys felt like they had quite a lot of spring, and when you pushed it down, it wasn't just initial resistance and then it would go easily. You had to push firm right to the bottom.
Because they have 2 levels of springs, one on the bottom and one on the top, because they have 2 winches.
Yes.
So stops you control on the left-hand side are on the upper winches of the second manual, and stops on the right-hand sides are controlled from the but just on the lower level. So that's why they are more difficult to depress those keys. Not very pleasant manual actually to play virtuosic music. What about this third manual? Did you like it? The lightness of the touch?
Yes, that was overall. I really enjoyed the experience of playing the organ. And
you said the pedals were easy to depress, right?
Yes.
And I think that audience loved your concert.
Thank you.
And loved your speech too. I think you connected very well with them.
And I translated, John's words into Lithuanian. And later, after the last piece, John came down to bow to the audience, next to the people. And then he talked a little bit with the people, and one person got John's autograph, right, on the program notes, and the second person gave John, I think, candy, right? Chocolate box.
Yes. It was very, very touching. I think there was about 50 people, which is quite a good crowd. That's quite a large crowd for an organ recital. And
yes, it is, especially on Saturday night in Vilnius, when there are so many other attractions and events going on.
I was very humbled and very touched that even though maybe many of the people didn't speak English, it was amazing to feel that I could communicate to them in music, that we all speak the same language of the music. And when I came downstairs from the organ loft to the exit of the church, and I wanted to shake everyone's hand to say thank you as they left, and you can tell so much from how people applaud and how they shake your hand. And I felt very honoured. It was very special that people appreciated it, and I hope in some way that I could touch them and inspire them.
Wonderful. So, John, what's next for you? Do you have plans for your next recitals?
So, I'm very excited that I've been asked to play the 9 lessons in carols at our church this year before Christmas. And that's the first time I've played for a big Christmas service. I'm very, very excited about that. And I'd like to learn In Dulce Jubilo by Bach as the postlude. I have a grand piece to finish with that's appropriate for Christmas. And I'm looking forward to studying that piece with you in the next few months. And I also had a dream for a few years to record my own CD, not really for making money, but so that my family and friends can play this CD and enjoy listening to some of the music. And then if I ever go to other concerts and play, then sometimes people like to buy a souvenir afterwards.
Also, don't you think that would be a great gift?
Yes, it would be, yes. I think that people would appreciate it, especially your active side and friends.
So perhaps you could take this opportunity to give me your advice, seeing as you and Ozra have recorded some very special CDs that have then given you an invitation to play overseas at St. Paul's in Cathedral in the UK and Notre Dame in France.
Yeah, that could be like audition disc for you. to collect your best performances in one place, right? And release them in public for public use, either as a gift or even for sale too. And when you travel, for example, to other cities, you could bring a box of CDs with you and sell them afterwards. People who like your concerts might be interested in having souvenirs of your music too.
So do you have some advice for me on how would you prepare for a CD recording, and what things happened that you learnt during your recording that is quite different from playing a recital?
Well, that's probably a topic for the next conversation, right, John?
Yes.
Because we are now arriving at the town of Trakai, about 30 kilometers southwest of Vilnius, where medieval castle is from the 15th century, right, Elsha? 14th century stands. So this was one of the historical capitals of Lithuania, right?
That's right.
One of the three. Kaunas, Trakai, Kernavė, right? Three. And it's a tourist also visiting site because it's a beautiful lake surrounding the island of the castle, and it has a also very old Baroque church. We're going now to find a room to park. Even if it's on Sunday, there are lots of people. Even it's in early spring, visitors are starting to come and enjoy the medieval culture. By the way, before we end this conversation, John, what do you think about Lithuania so far?
There's a sense of history here that is very touching, things that I've never seen before, and very different and beautiful architecture. And I appreciate how many people speak English. That has helped me out a lot. And it's a lovely country.
Well, exactly. People can be friendly here. Sometimes not so friendly, right? It depends on whom you approach. In front of us, we're approaching this church, very old church, right? I think it's older than the Baroque. And now we need to park somewhere. So thank you guys for listening. We hope this was useful to you, right? This was Vidas
and John.
And remember, when you practice,
miracles happen.
And you might end up playing a recital in Australia.